we'll begin with the post-Gupta period, and we will be mainly focusing on medieval history. Okay, medieval history in order to study the coinage of the medieval Indian history. So is the PPT visible? Please anyone just respond.
Yes, ma'am.
Great, chalo. So in the post-Gupta period, when we talk about the evolution of coinage in India, we find that there is a decline in terms of the number of coins that were issued, and also we saw a considerable decline in the artistic value of the coins. Okay, why? Because Gupta period, we talk that it's a golden age of the Indian culture, Indian history, and economically Gupta period was one of the most prosperous period. So we find the coins of a very great metallic purity and also coins of good artistic value in the Gupta period. But after the collapse of the Gupta dynasty, we find there is a financial instability in the country, and this financial crisis is depicted in the form of the coinage. So coins help us to know about the economic status of the period of any country, of any dynasty. So post Gupta coin, we find that they are poor in terms of the metallic value, they are poor in terms of artistic value, and we hardly find any gold coins. Here we find the coins of alloys like Billon. Now what is Billon? Billon is an alloy of silver and copper. So we are seeing that instead of gold coins, we are seeing the coins of alloy, and then too the alloys of silver and copper. So with this, we find that this is the period. So post-Gupta period, it's called as the period of decline in terms of numismatic trend. Okay. Now after the Gupta period, we see there is a rise of feudatories. So in history, you will be studying that with the decline of the Gupta period, we see few feudatories of Gupta, they come to the prominence and they started their dynasties. So one of the most important feudatory of Guptas were Pushyabhutis. Pushyabhutis, they ruled in Thaneshwar area, that is Kurukshetra, Haryana area. And one of the famous king of the Pushyabhuti dynasty was Harshavardhan. We all are aware about Harshavardhan. Harsha, he was the famous king of the Pushyabhuti dynasty. So one of the coin of Harsha is very famous, and that is the silver coin of Harsha. So after this period, we have Harsha's dynasty, that is the Pushyabhuti dynasty, and Harsha coins are the silver coins. On the obverse side of the coin, we find the face of the king facing left, and on the reverse side, so front side mein we find the face of the king facing left. So this is the front side, face of the king facing the left side, and on the reverse side we find fan shaped peacock. And there is a legend. Legend means some writing is written in the Brahmi script. So Brahmi script was this prevalent script of that time. So in the Brahmi script, the legend that is written, it mentions the name Silyaditya. Now who is Silyaditya? So Silyaditya is the name of Harsha given to him by a Chinese pilgrim. So please remember, if in the prelims there is a question, who was known as Silyaditya? So we should all know that Silyaditya, it's a name given to Harsha by a Chinese pilgrim, Yuan San. So on the name, on that coin, we find a Brahmi script mentioning Silyaditya, that is another name of Harsha given to him by a Chinese pilgrim, Yuan San. So this is the coin of Harsha's period, a silver coin, front side mein king ka face hai, and on the reverse side we have fan shaped peacock with a Brahmi script. Now the next is Sangam age. Now Sangam age, it's a age during which a rich source of Tamil literature was composed. So Sangam age is the period of South Indian history, and in this Sangam age, three dynasties flourished in South India. The three dynasties that flourished in South India were Cholas, Cheras, and Pandyas. Each of these dynasties had their own emblem, and we find that inke coins पे inke emblems are depicted. Like for example, Pandyas. So Pandyas का जो emblem था, the royal insignia, that is their royal emblem was fish. So we find that कि इनके coins पे on front side fish है, and ये तीनों dynasties का we find one common thing कि reverse side पे there is an elephant. Okay, so on the front side उनका emblem है and on the reverse side we find elephant and other auspicious symbols also. So Pandyan coins, we have on the front side their emblem, that was the fish was there, and on the reverse side we have elephant facing right with certain auspicious symbols and weapons. Cheras. Now, Cheras ruled in the Kerala area. इनका जो emblem था, it was bow and arrow. So on the front side of the coin, we find the depiction of bow and arrow, and on the reverse side, we find again elephant facing right with auspicious symbols. And finally, we had cholas. So there are two cholas. These are Sangam cholas. And और एक चोलास आते हैं, वो बाद में आते हैं, they are the imperial cholas. Here we are talking about the Sangam kingdoms. So these cholas, unka symbol was a tiger, a jumping tiger. And so again on the front side of the coin we have tiger, and on the reverse side we have elephant. So these are the coins of, so this is the first one, fish आपको दिखेगा on the front side, and on the left, on the reverse side, you can see elephant, and there are numerous weapons which are being depicted. So this is the coin of Pandyan dynasty. Then bow and arrow, you can see over here bow and arrow. So this is the coin of Cheras, and here you can again see elephant is there surrounded by different auspicious symbols. Then this is the coin of Sangam Cholas. So here you can see a tiger is there, and on the reverse side we have elephant. So these are the Sangam dynasties and unke ye coins. Okay, so Pandyas, Cheras and Cholas. Now we'll move towards the next dynasty, that is Chalukyas of Badami. So in the early medieval history in the Deccan area, Chalukya was an important dynasty, and there are different branches of Chalukya. The famous branch is Chalukyas of Badami. Badami, it's a place in Karnataka. So this Badami is also known as Vatapi. So these Chalukyas, they had their capital at Badami or Vatapi. Now, when we talk about the coins of Chalukyas of Badami, we find that there is a certain legend written on it in Nagari script. Nagari matlab Devanagari script. Devanagari, Sanskrit, Hindi, Marathi, jiska base, like the letters of Sanskrit are written in that script is known as Devanagari script. So Nagari script hai, and Kannada legend hai. Language is Kannada, but script is Nagari script. Okay, and why Kannada? Because the main core area of Chalukyas was Karnataka area. So as a result, we find the language which is being used is the Kannada language. So the founder of this dynasty was Pulakeshin I. After Pulakeshin, we had number of kings. One of the king was Mangalesha. On the coins of Mangalesha, we find the image of a temple. Then P2, Pulakeshin II, he is considered to be one of the most famous king of Chalukyan dynasty. So on the P2 coin, we find that lion is there on the front side, and back side mein there is a temple. Now ये यहाँ के जो coins है इनके कुछ words है, and in prelims 2022 Phanam was a preliminary question. What do you mean by Phanam? Okay, so this was the, if someone appeared 2022 ka prelims, you could memorize that, you could recollect that कि there was a question, what do you mean by Phanam? And उन्होंने options दिए थे. Phanams are the cloths, Phanams are the weapons, Phanam are the medieval India ke coins. So answer is medieval India ke coins. Now what are these Phanams and all? So Chalukyas of Badami, इनके जो coins थे, ये standard coins थे, 4 grams के थे, and these coins were called as hun or hunnu. Hunnu or hun is a Kannada language, उसमें coins को hunnu और hun बोलते हैं. And इनके जो fractions थे, like standard coin, one coin is of 4 grams. So few coins could be in the multiple of 4. 8 gram का coin हो सकता है, then 12 gram का हो सकता है, okay? And such coins in the fractions are called as Phanam. So this was the question this year in prelims. What do you mean by Phanam? So medieval India ka coin. So this is important, which you need to remember. And even now remember hun or hunnu. If that is a question, that is also a term related to the coin. Now Chalukyas ka jo royal emblem tha, it was boar. So on wild boar or boar. So on many of the coins, we even find the depiction of boar. So you can see over here, द फ्रंट साइड में आपको बोर दिखेगा. फर्स्ट कॉइन इज अ डिपिक्शन ऑफ अ बोर, एंड यहाँ पे ये एक कॉइन है जहाँ पे डिपिक्शन में दिस इज अ टेम्पल. So temple is being depicted. So these are the Chalukyas of Badami ke coins. Okay, so Chalukyas of Badami, famous king is P2. In history, you will be studying about him, P2. And remember, the language used is Kannada language. Why? Because the core area of this dynasty was Karnataka area or Kannada area. And the script used is the Nagari or the Devanagari script. And remember the terms used for coins, Hun, Honnu, ya fir Fanam. Okay, so Fanam, remember it. Now coming to the next dynasty, Pallavas. So Pallavas, Chalukyas were ruling in Karnataka area at the same. See, ये सब parallel ही चल रहा है. ये जो हमने देखा Harsha was ruling during this time in the North India. At the same time, Chalukyas of Badami were ruling in the Karnataka area. At the same time, Pallavas were ruling in the far south, that is in the Tamil Nadu area. Pallavas ka capital was Kanchi, and in the temple architecture, we have exclusively seen the contribution of Pallavas to the Dravida style of temple architecture. Now, on the Pallava coins, we find the use of different symbols. So, different symbols are being used. Bull ka symbol hai, lion ka symbol hai, Telugu titles are being used. Apart from that, we find other symbols also. Swastik is there, sacred lamp hai, chakra is there, trishul, ship and horse. Okay, so all these symbols are being used on the Pallava coinage. Now Pallava के जो coins है, these are mainly die struck coins, punch marked या फिर die struck coins है, and these coins are mainly of lead and copper. We do not find gold coins extensively, and silver coins are also very rare. So majority of the coins of Pallava dynasty are lead and copper coins, and these coins are mainly known for the different symbols which are used on these coins. Okay, so these are the coins of this period. You can see that chakra and all symbol is there. So these are the coins of the Pallava dynasty. Now coming to Cholas. Now this ये सब जाने के बाद now Pallavas were defeated by Cholas. So Pallavas के बाद आते हैं Cholas. Now these Cholas, as I mentioned that twice you will be studying Cholas. एक है Sangam Cholas, and these Cholas, the second one which we are studying now, these are the later Cholas, and these Cholas are very important for your examination. So the founder of this Chola was Vijayalaya. He founded this dynasty with Thanjavur as its capital. But two important kings of this dynasty are Rajaraja Chola and Rajendra Chola. So the coins of Rajaraja Chola, one of the most important king of this dynasty. So his coins have king standing king on one side. So on the front side, we have king in a standing position, and back side pe we have a seated goddess. And usually the inscriptions are in Sanskrit. Also we find inscriptions in the Tamil language, but mainly the inscriptions are in Sanskrit language. Then his son was Rajendra Chola. So in the Rajendra Chola, we have a legend. Legend means written script is there, written words are there. Shri Rajendra ya fir Gangai Konda Chola. So you will be studying in history that Rajendra Chola, he defeated a king of Bengal, Pala king of Bengal, and the name of the king was Mahipal. After defeating Mahipal, Rajendra Chola adopted and he defeated Mahipal on the banks of river Ganga. So after defeating Mahipal on the banks of river Ganga, he adopted a title Gangai Konda Chola. Gangai Konda matlab the one who conquered Ganga. Konda in South India means conqueror. So on many of his coins, we find this words written, that is Gangai Konda Chola, ya fir Shri Rajendra. And we have tiger and fish also as the symbols on the Chola coinage. Okay, so this is a typical Chola coin of a Raja one. So on this coin, like it's very difficult to interpret this. Whatever it's written, from that will interpret it. So king is seated in a seated posture is there, and raised arm is there, and there is a Devanagari legend written over here, Shri Rajaraja Chola. Then this is the coin of Rajendra Chola. I could see over here some fish-like structures are there. So fish K depictions are there, and this is the coin of Rajendra Chola, that is Gangaikonda Chola. Now coming to the most important part, that is the coins of Delhi Sultanate and Mughals. So this is extremely important. Up till now, we covered the coins of the early dynasties of the medieval period. Now we are going to exclusively focus on Delhi Sultanate ke coinage. So Delhi Sultanate from 1206 AD, Delhi Sultanate started in India. We have 5 dynasties under Delhi Sultanate. Slave dynasty से चालू होता है, slave, Khilji, Tughlaq, Sayyid and Lodi. With the Delhi Sultanate, we see that the attempts of formalization or standardization of coinage in India. Now, what is the speciality of the coins of Delhi Sultanate? So, on the coins of Delhi Sultanate, we find the name of the king, title adopted by the king. So, king का जो भी the issuing king है, उसका नाम है. For example, Iltutmish is the king, so his name would be there. Razia है, तो Razia का नाम रहेगा. Plus the title of the king. So few kings had a habit of adopting a title. Like for example, Alauddin Khilji ka title was Sikandar al-Sani, that is second Alexander. So such titles as seen. And date. Date as per the Hijri calendar, that is the Islamic calendar. So जो Islam का calendar है, उसके accordance में we find the dates on the Delhi Sultanate के coinage. Now, one important thing which we need to understand over here is that on the Delhi Sultanate के coins, we do not find the image or the portrait of a king. हमने देखे पहले जो coins हैं, Indian coins पे, Hindu kings के coins पे, we find the portrait of a king in few of the coins, but now we will not find the portrait of the king. Why? Because in Islam, idolatry or idol things like images of the king and all on the coinage is not allowed. It is prohibited. So remember that we do not find any image of the issuing monarch. The reason being prohibition of idolatry in Islam. So that is we need to remember. Apart from that, on these coins, on few of the coins, we also find calligraphy being done. And calligraphy may on few coins we even find verses of Quran being written. Okay, so these are the, you can say, features of the coins of the Delhi Sultanate. We find the name of the king, we find the title of the king, we find the date, but the date is as per the Islamic calendar or the Hijri calendar, and we find over here calligraphy, and calligraphy mein, that is the artistic writing mein, we find the verses of Quran being written. Strictly, we do not find the image of the monarch. Now, during this period of Delhi Sultanate, we see that he slowly and gradually, economically, the condition is very better. That is, economic prosperity is there. There is a formalization of a monetary economy, expansion of the monetary economy. And as a result, we see that standardization of coins begin during this period. Coins were struck in 3 metals. So we have 3 different coins. Copper coins are low value coins. Then we have silver coins, and the high value coins are the gold coins. So this 3 coins are being issued during this period. Now, for the first dynasty that ruled was the slave dynasty. So the founder, we know that, Qutbuddin Aibak, but he could rule for a very short span. Unke baad, next important king is Iltutmish. So Iltutmish is the one who issued 2 important coins of Delhi Sultanate, and these coins survived throughout the phase of Delhi Sultanate. So these coins are silver coin called as Tankha and copper coin called as Jittal. Okay, so these 2 are the coins issued by Iltutmish, silver Tankha and copper Jittal, and these coins continued throughout the period. So Iltutmish ने ये इशू किया, उसके बाद Balban जो आता है, he issued gold coin. Okay, so Balban से gold coin also started. Initially only silver and copper coins by Iltutmish. From Balban's period onwards, we find issuance of gold coins. Then in the Khilji rule, so after slave dynasty, we have Khiljis coming to power. They continued with the same coins only, silver coins, gold coins and copper coins only. But यहाँ पे जो significance हमें दिखने को मिलता है, it's that use of titles, grandiloquent titles, mainly used by Alauddin Khilji. So Alauddin Khilji के जो coins है, उन coins में we find the title being used such as Sikandar al-Sani. As I mentioned, Sikandar al-Sani means Alauddin Khilji used to call himself as the second Alexander. So that is being mentioned over here. So that is the significance of the coins of the Alauddin Khilji. So these are the copper coins, copper jittal, and these are the silver coins, silver tankha. And you can see over here, the Islamic language is being used over here on these coins. Then coming to the third dynasty, that is the Tughlaq dynasty. So initially, Tughlaqs continued with the earlier coins. Okay, that is whatever coins we saw, tankha, jittal, gold coins, that continued. But during this time, the modern day currency, that is the fiduciary currency or the paper currency, was introduced in China. So China में ये currency introduce हो गया था, and Muhammad bin Tughlaq was very much inspired by these currency. Now इसके पहले क्या होता था? इसके पहले ये होता था कि कॉइन्स का जो वैल्यू जो होता था, द फेस वैल्यू ऑफ द कॉइन वाज डिपेंडेंट अपॉन द मेटल कंटेंट ऑफ द कॉइन. तो जितना उस कॉइन का मेटल कंटेंट होता था, उतना उस कॉइन का फेस वैल्यू होता था. ओके, सो सच कॉइन्स वर कॉल्ड एज द मेटालिक कॉइन्स विद इंट्रिंसिक वैल्यू. इंट्रिंसिक वैल्यू मतलब जितना मेटल का वैल्यू है, उतना उस कॉइन का वैल्यू है. बट मोहम्मद बिन तुगलक, he was inspired from the Chinese paper currency, and he tried to introduce fiduciary system of coinage. Fiduciary system of coinage matlab the present day coins, that is the token currency. So what do you mean by token currency? Today if I will go and melt the 10 rupee ka coin, so if I will go and melt the 10 rupee ka coin, jo metal mujhe milega, that metal, if I will go and sell that metal, the metal ka value is not 10 rupee, mujhe 10 रुपए नहीं मिलेंगे. इवन इफ आई गो एंड मेल्ट 1 रुपी का कॉइन, हमारा जो अभी 1 रुपी का कॉइन है, वो अगर मैं जाके मेल्ट करती हूँ, मुझे उसका जो मेटल है, इफ आई गो एंड सेल दैट मेटल, आई विल गेट ओनली 90 पैसे. I will not get even 1 पूरा rupee. So such coins जिसका metal value and face value are not same, such coins are called as token coins. Okay, token currency or the fiduciary coins. So Muhammad bin Tughlaq, he tried to introduce such type of coins in India, and he issued fiduciary coins of brass and copper. But the issue was that, and on these coins there were legends also, like he who obeys the sultan obeys the compassionate. Okay, so like that legends were written on that on those coins. But the issue was that counterfeit started, mass forgery. The influential bankers and the influential money lenders and all, they started minting the currency by themselves. Exactly same currency वो बनाने लग गए, and they started mixing, because they cannot make silver and gold currency, because silver and gold was not readily available with them. Copper and brass ये low denomination के metals हैं, तो ये low value के metals है, they were easily available with the people, and definitely no one will अपना खुद का gold and silver निकाल के कोई coin बना के mix नहीं करेगा currency में. Why? Because gold has a value, silver has a value. Even if you go and melt it, वो metal लेके आप jewelry बना सकते हैं. But copper and brass, they are low value metals. So जिनके पास ये readily available थे, influential bankers and all, they themselves started minting the currency and they mixed it in the economic system. And as a result, this was the biggest disaster, because people were completely confused which one is the real official coin and which one is the forged ones. And as a result, this experiment, though the experiment was very genuine, though the experiment was a modern experiment of introduction of a token currency, but because of this issue, the token currencies were withdrawn, and then he issued gold coins. Muhammad bin Tughlaq then issued gold coins. So for prelims, आपको याद रखना है who introduced for the very first time token currency in India. So this could be a preliminary question. So remember that Muhammad bin Tughlaq is the person who for the very first time issued token currency in India. After this, we have Lodhi dynasty, Sayyids and Lodhis. So they introduced coins of copper and bullion. Bullion, as I told you, it's an alloy of silver and copper. So this is all about the coinage of the Delhi Sultanate. Two important coins which you need to remember: silver tankha and copper jittal, and token currency issued by Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Now coming to the next important part is coinage under the Mughals. So we all know the founder of the Mughal dynasty was Babur. Babur originally had its kingdom in Kabul, that is Afghanistan area. So when he was in Afghanistan or the Kabul area, he issued a coin which was known as Mitkal. So why I have mentioning this, because ऐसे टर्म्स यूज किए जाते हैं अभी प्रीलिम्स में, सो जस्ट यू नीड टू रिमेंबर दैट वर्ड एसोसिएशन पता होना चाहिए. मिटकल और अशरफी आर नथिंग बट gold coins issued by Babur in Afghanistan or the Kabul area. In 1525, Babur fought the very first battle of Panipat, in which he defeated the last king of Delhi Sultanate, Ibrahim Lodi. After defeating Ibrahim Lodi, Babur proclaimed himself as the first Mughal emperor of India. So from 1526 onwards, the Mughal rule started. And at that time, the initially capital of Mughal was Agra. So Babur started the dynasty, Mughal dynasty, with Agra as his capital, and he issued a coin, silver coin of 4.6 grams, and these coins were called as Shahrukhi. Now, what do you mean by Shahrukhi coin? So actually, it's a flat silver coin. Why it is called as Shahrukhi coin? Because for the very first time, this coin was issued in Central Asia by Shahrukh Mirza. And who was Shahrukh Mirza? He was the eldest son of Timur, and Babur was the grandson of Timur. So Timur was one of the famous invader, and Babur was the from the paternal side, अपने father के side से वो grandson थे तिमूर के, and अपने mother के side से वो चेंगिस खान के grandson थे. So Shahrukhi, you just need to remember that it is the coin initially issued by Babur. It's a flat silver coin of 4.6 grams. Babur was succeeded by his son Humayun. Even Humayun continued the minting of Shahrukhi styled coins. Okay, so ये जो first image है, this is the gold coin, this one. मिटकल या फिर अशरफी, इट्स अ गोल्ड कॉइन ऑफ 4.7 ग्राम. सो दिस इज द गोल्ड कॉइन. ओके, एंड इस पे जो लिखा है दैट इज रिटन इन द सुन्नी कलीमा. ओके, सो सुन्नी कलीमा इनके जो इस्लामिक जो लैंग्वेजेस है उसमें इट इज रिटन, एंड दिस इंक्लूड्स द नेम्स ऑफ देयर खलीफेट. खलीफ जो होता है रिलीजियस हेड ऑफ इस्लाम, उनके नाम इसके ऊपर लिखे गए हैं. सो दिस इज द मिटकल और द अशरफी कॉइन. देन दिस इज इंडिया में बाबर ने जो इशू किया, दैट इज शाहरुखी कॉइन. सो शाहरुखी इज द कॉइन इशूड बाय बाबर इन इंडिया. दिस इज द शाहरुखी कॉइन इशूड बाय हुमायून. सो बाबर स्टार्टेड शाहरुखी कॉइन इन इंडिया which was continued by Humayun, and this is written in their Arabic Islamic language. Okay, now coming to, now we know that कि बाबर एंड हुमायूं के बाद एक गैप आता है, and that gap में Suri dynasty ruled over India. So Humayun was brutally defeated by Sher Shah Suri. He was an Afghan, and Humayun was defeated to in a brutal manner that he escaped from India. He escaped from India and he went away to Persia. So for 15 years, 15 साल तक Humayun was in Persia. So between the Mughal rule, we have a short rule of Suri dynasty for 15 years, and this rule is called as the rule of Sher Shah, Suri dynasty, and the first ruler of this dynasty was Sher Shah. Now Sher Shah is credited with innovating different types of coins, and इनका सबसे जो important coin है वो है silver coin, and that is रुपया. तो आज हम जो रुपी यूज करते हैं, 1 rupee that we use, this rupee has been derived from the rupee that was introduced by Sher Shah Suri. So please remember this fact for your preliminary examination. So silver coin, rupiah, and this coin was literally used for 4.5 centuries. 4.5 centuries tak, that is 450 साल, 450 years tak this coin was used. Even Britishers, उन्होंने जब currency introduce की, that currency was lined on Suri का coin only, and even the modern rupee is it's lined on this coin only. Okay, so this we need to remember. Apart from this, now he issued certain standardized coins. So 3 standardized coins that were used by Sher Shah Suri are gold coin. Gold coin was called as mohur. तो ये याद रखना है, 3 coins issued by Sher Shah Suri, very important piece of information for your prelims. Gold mohur, it was of 11 grams. Silver rupee, 1 rupee it had 11.5 grams of silver. Okay, gold में उतना ग्राम का गोल्ड था, 11 grams of gold. And copper coin, copper दाम, copper पैसा. And this was a variable, ये variable होता था weight का. And these coins were mutually exchangeable. Like one mohur could be traded for 15 silver rupee. तो 15 silver rupee दिया तो a person could get one gold mohur. Then 1 rupee could be exchanged for 48 dam, that is copper coin. And ये जो coins थे, इनका जो value था, it was based on the market value of gold, silver, and copper. So it fluctuated freely. So this is very important. 3 coins of Sher Shah Suri, that is gold mohur, silver rupee, and copper dam. So this is the gold mohur. This is the silver rupiah of Sher Shah Suri, which later on became the modern day rupee. Now coming to Akbar, okay, so Sher Shah Suri के बाद फिर से हुमायूं आते हैं. So 1556 में Suri dynasty end हो जाता है and Humayun returns back. But Humayun का, you can say, the fortune was so like ill that he, जिस साल he returned back to India, very same year he fell from the staircase of Purana Killa and he died. तो 15 साल तक he was in Persia. When he returned back, the very same year he died. And after his death, Akbar became the next king of the Mughal dynasty. So what Akbar did, Akbar basically continued with the Suri dynasty का coinage. Okay, so we find over here कि रुपया continue हो जाता है, gold coin जो है Ashrafis or Mohur. So one and the same only. You can either alternatively they are called as Ashrafis or they are called as Mohurs that were introduced. And this is trimetallic currency. Trimetallic मतलब क्या है? There are silver coins also, there are gold coins also, and there are copper coins also. Okay, so trimetallic currency, this started from Delhi Sultanate that continued even in the Mughal period also. And here also now Akbar decided its market exchange rate. So 35 to 40 dams, they were equal to 1 silver rupee, and 9 silver rupees were equal to 1 mohur, that is the gold coin, or 1 ashrafi. Akbar also issued heavy mohurs, that is heavy gold coins, 10 and 12 rupees wale. Itne bade coins were also also issued by him. Akbar also experimented with the shape of the coin. So you find the different shapes of the coins. Square bhi hai and polygon bhi hai. So polygon shape of coins were called as mehrabi. Exam mein just agar question aayega, what do you mean by mehrabi? Just we should know that it's a medieval India ka coinage. So mehrabi was a coin that we should know. Now Delhi Sultanate mein we saw that ki on the coin the year that was used, that was Islamic, as per the Islamic calendar, the Hijri year. But now what Akbar did, rather than using the Islamic calendar, he started using his own dynasty ka year. So when he started his dynasty, to uska first year, second year, third year, that he started using. Okay, so he discarded the use of Islamic calendar on the coins. He started using his own tenure ka year on the coinage. Now when we talk about the Akbar coins, so Akbar में जो Islamic tradition था कि Islamic verses and all लिखना, instead of that what he did, Akbar founded his own faith, Din-e-Ilahi. So Akbar का ये खुद का faith था Din-e-Ilahi, which is based on the principle of Sulkul या फिर universal harmony. So he issued Ilahi coins, Din-e-Ilahi coins. So coins with the legend written Din-e-Ilahi, and coins with this legends written that Allahu Akbar Jalla Jalaluhu, that is God is great, may his glory be glorified. Okay, so such coins are called as Din-e-Ilahi coins, which were issued by Akbar. And now what he did, he also he started this new faith. Din-e-Ilahi was started by him in the 13th year of his rule. So now he started issuing the year Ilahi year on his coin. The year in which he started the Din-e-Ilahi, that year was used in his coinage. So instead of Islamic year, he started using such years in his coinage. Apart from that, we also see that ki Akbar ke coins pe he started a practice of writing, inscribing Persian poetry. So Persian poetry praising the king. That also he started on the small coins, and this was